Why don't you go ahead, Amit?
Yes. So, first thing I want to tell you, this Circles birdie default chat message has been completed on QA. That script took 6-7 hours to run. Okay. So you can verify with all the users, existing users, John.
Is it going
On
to take 6 or 7 hours in production?
not 67, 7 hours it take.
That's what I'm asking. Will it take 6 or 7 hours in production?
Yes, yeah, that will also take there.
I feel like we can do it faster.
How we can do it? Like from the local, what is happening? Local, it is taking 7 hours. When I'm running on server like QA, na, that time it's after running 200 and 300, it's getting network time outreach something. That
Well,
request rejecting.
I would do it entirely on the SQL database.
Oh,
Uh,
database will do it.
I run on a database. I feel like it'd only take like a few minutes, if anything.
Mm, database, how you will do it? Like we need encrypted their message content. And
Technically, we can use the same encryption keys that we're doing for the messages that are already there.
but problem is there we need to delete the chat also, existing chat. That thing also, like database that you can write it, then it will be good.
I could still do it from the database side.
Okay.
If that's going to take too long, I can just rewrite it from the database side.
Yes, yeah, that will be, if database that you can do it, then it will be good.
Yeah.
Since I am running from my local machine, so that it is taking time. And while we're running on a QA, since there are lots of operations, so it's getting what network error we are getting after some time. To 200, 300 requests running, then after it's getting timeout.
Yeah. Well, then you run it directly on the database, and you should
Hmm.
have more time than that.
So you'd
Okay.
have to rewrite the script, Jerry?
Yeah, I can use what Amit has.
Okay. That'll be good because if it worked, then we don't need to modify it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Again, and second thing, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Jerry sent me one profile, had some invalid image. I went through it, Jerry. You can see this 974 and 975 image are invalid. And that's all created three same time here. Time you can see. 1, 2, 3.
Uh-huh.
So that was the problem. How it's created on 21st of Jan 2024.
So help me understand why the script you ran a script before that was supposed to
Yes,
be these though.
yes. We run the skip and why this is skip. I
I
had
also
that
have
invalid image.
I also have a question too, because that profile did not have a missing image as its first image, primary image,
Hmm.
until just recently. So what changed also that made it be the primary image?
Primary image, we did not make any changes here. You can see created date. It's not recently any
Yeah,
change
but
of
I can tell you certainly that it has not been a year
Hmm.
that, because I can see this date was January 2024, over a year ago. I can tell you 100% guaranteed it has not been like that for over a year. So how did it get into that position as well is another question I have. So let's start with the script you ran and why did it not catch this?
Mhm. 2 points. I need to think. Your script, I'm also not able to find it. What I have written. I can see add image to profile is there. That one I'm not able to find invalid one. Yeah, it will be in my local somewhere. Give me some time. I will let you know about this one. Why it's not able to catch.
Okay. What's the format of the image?
Image key is invalid here. Like one is only correct one, and these two are invalid.
Okay.
91747, 91475. That is not present on Cloudberry.
Okay. So you were looking into this all day?
Not all day. Not this one.
Okay. So what else did you do?
So I work on a starting test cases. I don't
Yeah,
have other things
this
apart
is
from
this is a thing right here. This is a thing we wanted you to look into. This is an important thing. The test cases are not urgent.
mm,
This is urgent. You don't have an answer though.
I'm not able to find my script where it's written. Like, see, I went through all my code also. I have written, but I check inside the script in GitHub also. I'm not able to find it where it is. It's something I over it or something happened. That's why.
I could give you the date that we ran it. Does that help?
25, I run it on module server. You valid image things there. You can find it. Give me some time, John. I will let you know. Give me some time.
All right. Okay. Well, let's get another update. Ismail, can we get your update, please?
Yeah, so I continued working on the buttons yesterday. So they're turned out to be a little bit more complex than I really thought. I just need to make sure I had to kind of refactor some of the header where we pass in more props to determine if the header is a place, if it's a movie, if it's a TV show, if it's a game. Each one of those has its own link. So what that means is if it's a movie, it'll have a different link. If it's a game, has a different link. Show, TV show has a different link. Place have a different link. Same for podcasts and books. So after successfully generating the link through what we have, I was able to generate the link. Looks like it's working. Just need to distinguish between QA and prod. So I do have it set up for prod right now because that's what we're going to be testing on. But if we're going to test it in QA, the link has to look a little different.
When you're saying the header, which header are you referring to?
The card header here. Let me
The
share my
card.
screen, I guess. So make it a little easier to understand. Uh,
These are the buttons on the drawer for sharing through text or
yeah.
in Circle.
Where's the screen? Here it is. Okay, share phone. So, is it sharing?
Not yet. Now it is.
Okay. So, remember how this just had like one option, like share or report?
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on it, I added, you see it's the updated look,
Cool.
and you have share in circles, you have share more options, you have report. Obviously, share in circles is the old, is like what we currently did. This is the
Mm-hmm.
inside circles. If you click on share more options, it generates the link,
Lovely.
and you can send it through whatever app or messages or whatever you want.
Okay. Awesome.
And report is just, well, report. Um,
Okay.
so that's so I had to basically, this header, it didn't, I had to like pass all that information to generate that link successfully because it needs to know if it's a place header, if it's a TV
Mm,
show, podcast, book, whatever it is.
mm,
And it needed like the profile key and all that stuff. So made sure all the right information was passed, and then I had to basically, just write the code to generate that link
I see.
properly and refactor the buttons and add whatever options are missing here.
Okay.
So that was part of it. Obviously, I also refactored if you go to like somebody's profile, and you go to here. So also the updated one with the
Lovely.
view shops and so on.
Nice. That's great.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Now, one thing I realized is that when we were refactoring, I don't know if we remember this in the past, we 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 kind of stopped at books and podcasts where those cards are not using the our new components.
Mm,
And I guess we got busy back then, and we just kind of like we'll come back to it later, and we never really did. So
The
what that means,
atomic design.
yeah, this is the old cards basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's why the header, you can see it doesn't have the other options.
Oh,
It's for
okay.
books and podcasts only. It doesn't even have the share option currently in our app.
Okay.
Um, so I was thinking, I don't know if I should spend some time refactoring the header or just go ahead and, because like right now, if you plug in the header here, technically, the new one, if I refactor, it'll just work right away because I
Mm.
made that where it can support any card. But this one is using the old header, but I don't know if we want to spend some time refactoring this whole thing, get it
Mm.
up to date,
Mm.
or just kind of spend some time on work that we will eventually have to refactor anyways to get it to
Right.
use our newer system. So
That's a
that's
good
why I kind
question.
of left this for now. I wasn't sure what direction, how much time we have, how urgent this is, or if we want to have those work, these will come in later.
Okay. What about if you were to tap on the podcast?
Do the one
Go
now?
Yeah, go to the profile for the podcast,
Oh,
and then what if you go down to episodes and then pick one? What about that share button up there?
this one is,
That one's still just the outside.
yeah,
Now, would that be something you could easily use what you've created?
yeah, we can use the drawers here.
Okay. Okay.
I
But
just have to, I
using the
have to like
drawer,
set up the drawer and the options because this one just has the option of the drawer without anything.
yeah. Um, but the three dots on the card, you can't use the drawer as easy.
It's not that they can use it as easy, it's that I have to,
The header, it's
it,
the header itself. That's the problem.
well, it's not the header, it's the whole component is also, even though where you, when the information is passed and everything, I have to like, I have to,
Hmm.
let's say if I want to refactor the,
I'm following you. I get it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I see. So,
it's just going to take a good amount of time, but eventually that work is going to go to waste because we're going to have to refactor that card eventually with the new components we have.
yeah, it would be better to apply the work to refactoring the card because then you'll be able to use the drawer pretty automatically
Right.
instead of trying to get the drawer to work because that's going to take work.
Exactly. That's going to get deleted eventually.
Yeah, and the delete of it. Yeah. Do we get any kind of performance gain if you were to refactor that card? Is that also a possibility?
Not necessarily, no.
Mhm.
It might, maybe if state wasn't used properly, but nothing like, nothing that is you can say, oh wow, this is a lot more crisp now or fast.
Yeah.
And
I wonder
so
if Slate is being used improperly,
yeah.
and because there feel like there is still some lingering ghosts from some of these cards. Um,
Mm.
so it might be a fringe benefit of refactoring it, perhaps.
Mm.
Wouldn't hurt, obviously. How long does it take to refactor it?
Um, I can't say for sure, but it is gonna take me, I would say, a day, maybe two, because I need to factor this card and the book one. I think those are the last two that are left,
Mm.
and I need to test them and apply this new system of sharing. So a day or two depends really. It's kind of hard to tell with these things because they just have a lot of parts to them. So you need to make sure the style works on all phones. You need to make sure um, and if there is anything you want to change in these cards, now is the time.
Right. I was thinking
Um,
that too. Maybe.
but yeah, it's gonna. I mean, I have because like some of these components I don't already have. Like this component I need to create because we don't have an existing component that looks like this. I can just plug in and play.
Hmm.
So I need to create it. Um, like I said, it's kind of hard to tell really, but I would say a day at best to maybe 2 days more is most likely.
Okay. I have a couple more questions. Scroll down to a place profile
A place
or
profile.
entertainment. Okay, so just yeah, there's one of these. Tap on
Yeah.
that. Not the three dots, but the profile.
These three dots?
No, the profile. Tap on the image.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So that's okay. So then the share button here down in the middle,
This one is
it'll
we
go
have it
only
like
like that.
yeah
Now, what would it take to use the drawer you made?
here. That shouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean all those places should be too bad to use a drawer. It's just gonna take some time setting it up for each one because each one has its a little separate logic than the other. So not a lot of time, but I just have to make sure I get all the different ones. Probably have to make a list, honestly. But yeah, all in all, it shouldn't be too bad to get that. Like to get this pretty much anywhere in the app you want it.
Okay. And we could do for entertainment as well. Now,
Yeah.
we don't need to report a place.
Uh,
We
it
can,
was just there, so I just left it.
was it there?
Yeah, I didn't add that.
Maybe we would want
Does it
to report.
work? Does the report function work on businesses?
I'm not sure what happens when we report it.
Let's try.
Let me see. Give me a second. I need to see what API gets called and.
Yeah, let me know which one it calls and we can go there.
Yeah, I think there could be some very rare situations that there may be a legitimate reason to report a business.
Yeah. I was starting to think about it.
So the API was called successfully. The name of it's called report user or profile. It's the name of the mutation.
Okay.
And yeah, I just reported it basically.
Yeah, that it sends an email to let's see who it sends an email to. That can't be right. Let's see. I have to check the environment for this. It is an environment variable. Let's see, configuration. It goes to info@sircles.com. It comes from
That's an email address, right?
yeah. It comes from. Let me get that for you next. It comes from email user. Who would that be? Admin@circlespartners.com.
Okay.
Did you confirm that we got that email?
Maybe Danny or Todd could confirm.
Which email?
Info@circles.com.
Yeah, Ismail reported content from
Let's see.
QA here on a place profile edition dash.
Okay. Yep. Let me see. Yeah, place or entertainment profile reported.
Okay.
And it shows the profile ID has been flagged for inappropriate content by user 41120.
Okay, cool. So it does work.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's get the share button on the place and entertainment profiles to also use your drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, and then also on the share button on
Yeah, so
podcast
these right
episode.
here. Also, I need to implement them here. I think so. And then I think these are using our old cards, period. This screen is using our old cards. It's not using our new ones.
I see.
So that also.
That would explain why the scrolling was not as good on this one versus Discover Feed yesterday for me. So I bet you refactoring those cards will have an improvement.
Well, this one is not going to be refactoring; it's going to be replacing because these cards already exist.
That's what I mean. Replacing though with yours are more optimized.
Yeah. So you shared with you and you. So this is the old header, old logic. So I guess all of them would say that. But you shared with you and you. So yeah, there's a lot of bugs here. The screen needs some love. Now, if I'm going to replace these. This is also going to take some time because I need to have the header also add some more logic to it to support these texts, which it doesn't at the moment because it's meant for feeds. It's not meant for the my share. Um, so again, replacing these won't also be kind of like like a 1 hour job and then we're done. It's going to take some wiring and refactoring and making sure I understand the logic of these cards and implementing it in the other ones if there's any of it missing.
Yeah. And the reward is not that great.
This one's
I'd rather focus on the share button on the profiles. So
you're talking about
in the episodes of podcasts. So episodes,
this one right here, right?
that one right there, yep. And if you go into episodes,
If we go to episodes, yeah. Okay. This one right here.
then that one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can do that.
Start with that, and then I think maybe we shelf continue. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What else was there? I thought we had something else we were talking about yesterday.
There was
too.
something, yeah. I was just wondering the same thing. It was like links or something that we were talking about before we got distracted by the cards and buttons. There was something you were working on about links. I thought, was it links in the chat?
It was links to navigate to these profiles, which I have set up already. So basically, somebody shares a profile, click on it, it will navigate you to that profile. They send the person's profile, it would do that as well. And yeah,
Jerry already created those links, right?
yeah, and I had to implement them for each one separately, like user separate, book, entertainment, podcast, so on. Now, other than now, this is one topic. Now, let me see. Yeah, I think there's anything other than these. Yeah, we talked about yesterday. Talked about these in the links, and then, mm, yeah, I think it was just this, and then chat reply. I was gonna jump to after that, but it looks like it's gonna be not before next week because, yeah, these still need a bit of work.
Okay. Well, we don't do every card like under the my shares and all that yet. Let's just get these share buttons and the sharing episodes to work for now.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that can be done today.
Cool. Okay, that's and Jerry. I want to work with you a little bit on those landing pages. So maybe you could send them to me, the URLs, and I can take a look, see
Yeah.
what changes. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Ismail?
Let me see here. So
Did we get a build yesterday?
I didn't set up enable display. I don't think we had anything major.
No, but I do. I think that Wells had a couple PRs that you reviewed.
Wells did have a couple years, and I fixed edit. I have something in edit that was a bug fix.
Yeah, remind me what is there? What that bug was?
Oh, it was just when you click edit. So one time it'll populate the text that you're editing inside inside the chat input or
Uh-huh.
text input, and then
Yeah.
one time it didn't populate it, so I had to fix that logic.
One time it didn't populate it.
Let me
So
see what else there is there.
was it because you did it twice on the same message?
No. It had to do with uh the way we were setting the roughs and stuff. So it,
Yes.
I had to do it in a way where when you click on the button, I was assigning it through a use effect, and I did it on button click, which uh, which fixed that problem.
I
So
see.
that was
You
yesterday.
may
And I have
the
two
build.
PRs. Huh?
The build may be approved. I don't. Is that build approved? Because I'm just wondering how bad that bug is. Because
It's kind of annoying because like you would do one time edit will show that whatever you're editing, and one time it'll just be an empty text field you're starting from scratch.
it's random.
No, it's not random. It's one time on, one time off.
I see. It alternates.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Did that bill get approved, Danny? I suppose we could wait and
We
just.
got an iOS approval last night.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, we technically could push it, but it doesn't have the bug fix.
Yeah, it won't have that bug in it,
But it has other
or
bug.
it would have that bug.
Yeah, but it has other bug fixes too that are not.
Yeah. How is the chat pagination? I don't know if I got feedback on it in terms of, first of all, is there any chat duplicates now?
I haven't seen them.
And were you guys like actively looking and make sure
Um,
there's no
I've been in.
duplicates?
I have been in the chat a lot, and I would notice if I was seeing
Okay,
content twice, but I'll
that's
keep
good. And how
testing
about the topic pagination and cache management around that?
that. I haven't tested that much.
Okay.
I need to do that.
Well, probably be a good idea for QA team to test because, like, we don't want any major bugs around topic paginations and topics in general and creating them. So that's kind of the whole point of our chat.
100%. Yeah, we had a long day yesterday outside the app. It's like a lot of promotional stuff. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for the QA team, whenever they have some free time, also, it'll be a good idea to test duplicate chats and to test topic paginations.
for sure. Okay. Um. Okay, and you said Wells PRs were merged.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything outstanding needing review?
Anything pending for review? No. It's just this one. It's just I updated also the library for pasting stuff. So, like when you paste pictures inside the chat. So, yeah, all in all, no. We can create a build today with those bug fixes, or I don't know if we want to wait for these share stuff or my share updates to be part of the build towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe early tomorrow, depending on how smooth it goes. But I think end of the day is a reasonable
Okay.
goal to have for these.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get it today. We can wait.
Okay. But again, anything that's using the old cards will not support this. Only our new cards will support this, like the ones that we refactored, and the share buttons inside these profiles will support it.
So if someone didn't update the app, they won't see it. So
So, what do you mean by no? What I'm saying is, for the share, that new share, mm, the one that looks like this share, this new share,
Yes.
it will only be on the new cards, like the cards that we have. It won't be part of the older cards because these need to be refactored.
Right. Yep.
And when I say old cards, I mean podcasts and books on
Podcasts
feeds
and books.
and anything in here, or even I think cares we do have the new cards.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, we do. So cares I already refactored. We
Cool.
are using the new cards because I remember we also needed this. But for shares, they're still using the old cards, so it won't be here.
Okay. Go back to your cares also, and let's send that one to Amit. Why does this? I want to know why that doesn't have an image or a placeholder image.
Looks like it doesn't have a period. Or looks like there's a black one.
But
Oh,
it
okay.
should still have a placeholder.
Yeah, I think there's a black image. If, or is that the gradient we have?
I don't.
I don't know.
Yes, that's just the gradient on the bottom.
Okay, maybe. Yeah.
Amit, can you also look into why this one doesn't have an image showing, please? This is in Ismail's cares,
Okay, I'm check. What is the profile name? High Point.
High Point University.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then it won't be backwards compatible, obviously. Like it'll be compatible, it just won't. If they haven't updated, they just won't see the new buttons, right?
So yeah, because just like any other front end update, you have to update the app to see the new stuff.
Yeah, but it won't. Nothing will break. This is the old button.
Nothing will break. There's no new fancy back end work or like we're not refactoring anything. We're just changing the look of
Right.
these buttons and in some cards like this one we're adding functionality, so we're not removing anything. So no, it shouldn't break. Like for example, we didn't have the share more. Like for profiles, you couldn't externally share. You can only internally, as of
Right.
right now. I added the external, and the obviously looks a little different. So no, nothing will break.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, Danny.
Hey, sorry, I just got off another call. I need to split off with Todd here for a minute, so I wanted to give you an update on a couple things. The App Store build for Apple was approved. The Google Play Store was not, and I'm logging in to see right now why. But I have a hunch.
Okay.
And then, if you don't need me for anything, I'd like to grab Todd and split off to handle something with some of our App Store certs because there's a deadline coming up in about 10 days, and I want to make sure we don't get like blocked from the Apple Store or something ridiculous
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So what's the problem with Android?
I am clicking the big red button right now to read it, and I have a feeling.
It's foreground services.
Yeah. That's what it is. Every other time.
Thought we got past that.
So did I. I thought we removed the permission.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Will you send it to Amin for him to look at? He was
Yeah,
last.
I got the email and I read it tomorrow this morning. I like we removed the permission. It's not in the app at all, and also like we're not ticking that box where we telling Google we're using a location foreground service.
Hmm.
So I
So
don't.
it's like that. Must be the podcast player foreground.
That's the only thing. It's the foreground that needs a foreground permission, but they're not like specific to which one. Is it location or audio? So
But we
now
don't
it's
use location anymore, right?
yeah. No, we don't use the foreground location. We just use the location when the user is on inside the app, which is how we've been doing it all
Look,
this time.
let me get a new video for media today with Todd on his Android phone when we split off here, and I'll upload a new video to Cloudinary and go through it all again. But that one, I felt like we really nailed with the video because it is perceptible to the user. You can show that when you force close the, or when you put the app in the background, like there's a player right there that tells you the app is still playing it in the background. So I'll get an updated video and resubmit. And that itself will put it at least back in the queue for review. And then I do have a question though. Is it possible those Cloudinary links, those URLs, expire or change in any way? Because what I'm doing is uploading the video into Cloudinary, linking that Cloudinary video to the administrative team at Google, and they're using that link to watch the video. But if that link expires or something, that would obviously not, I think that's unlikely, but
They shouldn't. They
Yeah.
you can preview it and copy the URL and paste it to make sure. But the only way it would go wrong is if it was deleted. To my knowledge.
all right, I'll double check it. But either way, I'll get him a new video because we did make a change to where it's actually even more fluid. Like that whole play the podcast in the background thing works a lot better now. So I can at least get us back into review by dropping a new video in.
Also, then like in the email, like they have two points, like the video and also the app description.
Yeah,
That
it doesn't say. I don't know. I don't think the description currently says like you can listen to your favorite podcasts while you drive or anything like that. So I can slip a note in about that to see if that gets it through too.
Okay. I think make sure you do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. All right, Todd, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's jump over to a new link and go through some of this.
Yeah, no worries. Send it to me.
Cool. See you in a sec.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Amin, will you continue? Can you give us an update, please?
Yeah, sure. Yesterday, I finished up working on the tag friends, but I think there's some things that um maybe we need to polish there. It's like let me share my screen. So um, where's the screen? Where's the, so this is the tag friends. So for users, it's gonna be like if I'm gonna add someone, it's gonna be here. as like the usual. Also, the search work if you're gonna do works. The only thing is like the items they stays in the list. I'm not sure if should we remove them or
Yeah.
not. I was I was hesitating doing that because it's gonna be a little bit more of code, and
Hmm.
I was like, waiting, like do we
What,
want
hap-
to do it?
what happens if you press it a second time?
It's not. I think yeah, nothing happens. And I think this is how it was
Okay.
before.
Yeah. No, that's probably okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, let me see from the beginning again.
mm-hmm. The cancel. It's saved automatically there. So I need to look into that. Um, so
Mhm.
it's saved always there. Um, so I need to fix this cancel. It should cancel things. But yeah, the users works. If I'm gonna do this, nothing happens because for some reason here, this one says this phone number is not real. But if I go, for example, I need to look into that why. But let me showcase another one. Yeah, so we only allow mobile phone numbers. So like if you try to tag your contact,
Mhm.
those are not like real. I think
Mm.
like yeah, they get in. So we only we do a like an API request. That's why there's a bit of delay. That's another thing that we need to discuss how we're gonna be. So it's gonna be taking a second or something like that. Because I press, nothing happened for a second, then this pops up.
I see.
But if where is it? Yeah, I think it's in Higgins. But if this user has multiple phone numbers, then this happens. Okay, yeah, it's real. Okay, only allow for real phone numbers because those are not real. But if it's not, it will be added in here. And I'm not sure if the backend is able to handle that now. Because like right now, I'm sending a list of user keys. I think that's how it is for tagging a friend in a post. So we do user keys. So for contacts or phone numbers, I'm not really sure. Is it this handling? It is handled on the back end.
Do you have a question for Gary on
Yeah,
it?
Jerry, I mean,
I'm sorry. What's up? You need.
so right
I,
now we're gonna be tagging friends. Before it was just users, but now it's gonna be users, contacts, or phone numbers. So is this gonna be handled on the back end? Like for example, this think it just works by like yeah, this needs a little bit of work to finish it. But like let's say this is a contact. Like for example, this Daniel Higgins is a contact. I selected this phone number. Let's say this is not happened. It's all went good, and it added here as a phone number here or
Mhm.
the name here. But this is not a user, a circle user. It's just a phone number.
It's
So,
external user.
huh?
It'll be an external user.
Yeah, external user.
Well,
Oh,
and you're saying the phone number will be there or the name will be there, right?
Yeah, the name. Yeah,
But it'll be based on the phone number.
yep.
oh, you just want to know if the backend supports it? Thought
Yeah,
I.
I'm asking. Yeah, I'm asking. This is for tagging in
Mhm.
a post, like here. I have to like do a check-in.
Ahmed, did you look into that yet? I know I talked to you about it maybe last week or beginning of this week.
Which one? Sorry, Jerry, I didn't focus. Can you please say?
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
Uh,
Sorry.
I did not hear what I mean. Can you please say? Tell me again.
Uh, to tag external users in check-ins.
Mhm.
I know we talked about that. Did you get a chance to work on it with Amin?
No, no, no. I did not work with him. I will work with him.
Amit, you're spending a very little time on the things that are very important to us, and I'm concerned that you're really drifting away from the project at a critical time.
No, no, John. Actually, what happened? Sorry, I missed it. Completely missed it. This one.
I
So what
do
happened?
recall Jerry bringing this up to you a while back when we first started on this. So you should have already been
Very,
done by now. That
I think
way,
very you discussed with me day before yesterday. I day before yesterday when I'm leaving the stand up that time we discussed.
no, I think it was last week.
not last week, Sinjon. Only on Tuesday stand
Okay.
up. Yeah, Tuesday stand up we discuss.
Okay. Um,
Mm.
so you should be done by now. That way, Amin can finish up. So, um, I'm not really clear on what needs to be done. But can you tell me, Amit, what needs to be done on the back end?
So I need to tag external user and see what is happening. Right, Jerry? Here.
Right. You need to. So remember what I said. One, if there's only one user tagged and they're an external user, we do not create a chat. But if there's more than one user tagged, then we can create the chat because we do that now when we tag two.
So that we can do it, but one thing, how what will be the external user key here? How we can tag it external user? So user
Well,
contact key, it will pass.
right. It would be user contact key, and we also need their number. So you would be an array that has the user contact key and number. Yeah, this is kind of what I asked you to work with Amin on to get this going.
This is completely new now. Currently in tagging, we are not supporting user contact key and phone number. So that we
Right.
need to.
But Amin started working on this a few days ago on the front end, and you were going to work on the back end so that you guys could finish up at the same time.
Okay, so I will give him as early as possible tomorrow. This one.
I'm worried that you don't know what all needs to be done, and then tomorrow you're going to say you're not done because you weren't clear.
No, I got it. So like inside tagging, we need to pass user contact key and phone number. If it is only one external user, then we will not create one-to-one chat. If it is more than one external user, then we will create one multi. Then we will create group chat. Correct?
I think so. Is
Yeah.
there any else you can think of, Jerry?
That sounds about it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Want to make sure that the queries return properly, but it's possible I need to update the queries. But just like
1 minute. Let me check current existing query supporting contact key or not. So let me check it first. 1 minute. Check in tagging.
yeah, well, let me know the prerequisites you need for this because it does stall things when we run into a gap and nobody's doing anything on it.
Checking at profile. Checking at profile here and tag the user. So, email profile checking. Tagged users. So, we are passing tagged user array list in there, Jerry, not
Right.
external any. Hmm.
What we need to do, we need to add it to that mutation and make sure that you can identify all the UDFs and queries. If I need to make database changes, update the UDFs and queries to do it.
Okay. Got it. Checking profile.
You sound like you're very far away from your microphone.
I'm finding UDFs to sending Jerry currently.
Okay.
Checking update. One is checking update. This is the checking I require it. Yep. That is the only one I required to make changes, Jerry, from your side.
Okay. So, I mean, are you blocked in any way here?
I think the only piece that would be blocked, not this screen, but like this. When a user finished selecting,
Hmm.
like for example, sit down in here. So this step will be blocked if, for example, if I don't have any. Let's see if this one gonna work. No. I think I need to look at this because I think those are real for some reason, but they're not passing.
Hmm.
But let's say like there's a contact in here. I do done.
Hmm.
Here's a contact and I do chicken. This that will need work. But
Okay.
as far as this screen, no, we will not block. And
And
it's all there. I just need to look up this issue with the contacts, with this phone numbers thingy going on in here.
okay. And the back end work that Amit's going to do will unblock it for that other screen.
Yep.
Okay. Um, I have a few questions about this. So, So let's see. Let's show more. What's the how many does it put above show more?
It shows. I think we're doing 4.
More.
Yeah, and this one would show also. This one will prioritize SOT. Like I have, it's not in here yet. But it's like it's all done.
Yeah.
I'll add it. But yeah, here it's gonna be 4.
Okay.
The
Um,
max
I
4.
think that in this view, um, we can show all of them because those are going to be the ones most likely anyway. Your circle trust, and then the people with emojis. If so, would it be pretty easy to remove the show more from this and just show everything at the suggest? Not, I mean,
Mm,
show all the ones available as suggestions.
let's see. Yeah, shouldn't be a lot of work.
I think that probably be better, especially because I never liked, how there's a show more button when there is not more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird, you know. I forget why you said that it was just easier to do it that way, but like obviously there shouldn't even be a show more.
Yeah, I think because like we don't know whether there's a show more or not, like whether there's more data coming in or not, unless the person.
Pagination, is that why?
Yeah, so unless if the
We could
backend.
pass. He could pass the quantity, right? Jerry could pass.
I do. I do pass the quantity. Like for example, I pass like 4 to only
Oh,
get only back 4,
yeah.
and I get back 4 from the backend. But I don't know if there is more than 4. So I do another API call to know if there is more. I think
Why
if the
doesn't the first
backend.
API call tell you like let's say there's like 17?
Yeah, that's what I was going to. If the backend tells me if there's something more just from the first one, then yeah, we show it. If the backend tells me no, there's not, then I can just hide it.
I see. Okay, but in this case, I don't think we need the show more at all.
Okay.
I would just
Yeah.
the 2 sections, suggestions, and then your contacts. I mean that's fine.
So let's say the suggestions is like I don't know, 20,
That's okay.
50. We're gonna list them all.
Yeah, that's okay because I mean my contacts are hundreds of contacts. So
Well, here's the thing. So I need to send the number of how many of those we're gonna fetch from here. And how many should I do that? It's like how the max we want of the suggestions we want to be.
why does the front end need to know how many?
Um Jerry, if I pass the fetch as an undefined, it will give me back everything that it's in the database, right?
Uh, not right now, but we could.
Okay, so yeah, that's the reason why. So
Okay.
uh the
So we
front
could
end needs, yeah,
maybe have Jerry update that.
yep.
So what are we trying to do right now? We're trying to return everything in just a single API call.
Only this suggestion. When the filter suggested true for this API call, we want everything to be there, like all the suggestions that the backend can find.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which is it's not that many. It's up to 8 from the Circle Trust, and then anybody that you have like emojis in the names.
So we also want this change on the SOT screen.
No, not there.
Okay, so only on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean only if the fetch is, because that's what I was asking, because like we're passing the fetch
Okay.
number. So if the fetch is undefined, yeah,
Return.
means I guess just return everything.
Is it shared, Jerry, between here and the edit SOT? Like, is it easier to do both?
No, if he I was just trying to understand if he wants to pass undefined or null to
Yeah,
fetch, we can totally do that.
Okay. 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 Cool. So then we don't need to show the show more.
yeah, we will not. So and it's
That'll look
gonna be the
better.
whole. Yeah, it's gonna be the whole suggestion that the user needs to scroll to see the other. If there's like, if
Just
there's like,
the contacts. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Um. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm thinking about. Let me check something in the app real quick. 1 second. Yeah, I think that's all good. Does the keyboard come up for you? If
Yeah, it does. This is I can just bring it.
okay.
Bring it. Yeah, that's
Will you be able to swipe down to remove it?
yep.
Nice. Great.
Like yeah, this screen is basically the same one in Edit SOT and the onboarding SOT steps. Like it's the same, just like
Awesome.
made some changes to have it take into consideration this screen and this flow.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. I think I had another question. Let's see. Maybe not. So you got to look into why when you hit cancel, it was
Yeah,
still.
yeah, that should be small thing. I have this cancel thingy, and if I'm trying to add content, right now I'm pressing, nothing happens. So I'll need to look into that. I was only testing with users, so I'll test and see what's going on there
Okay.
and remove the show me.
Okay. So what happens if you add, like, if you tag a follower here, someone you're following, like
Like,
any one of these with the image, like Danny.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you hit done, and then check in. Does it work at this point?
Let me see. Yeah.
Cool. Great. So then there's just the work with the back end for the contacts and creating that group with the external users.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Jerry,
But, John,
go ahead.
so I want to discuss with Jerry. Can I say my screen for only for a few minutes?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. And then while he's doing that, Jerry, do we have to do any extra configuration with Twilio for these external users, or is it going to work pretty much the way
No,
the
no,
other?
no, John, we don't need to do anything. Like we already have set up for this external chat.
Okay, great. Okay, go ahead.
So Jerry here you can see chicken input. There's a chat tagged user currently a string. So for contact, we will create another parameter. I will create where he will pass.
Right, right. It needs to be like tag contacts, but we need contact key, and then we also need
Contact key
number.
and phone number is there.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you please give me, if you will give me the UDF, updated UDF, I will work it now and give it to him in 30 minutes. I check.
Okay. Well, let's see. Check. Where was it? I was working on it. Yeah. Check and update. Yeah. I updated that. And you just need to pass the contact key to it.
Okay. So I will take it. So John, I will provide him in 30 minutes. Give me some.
Okay, very good. So
I
you'll
will
be able to provide that in a few minutes, you said?
30 minutes I will provide him. Yeah, I will work on it and will provide him.
Okay. Did you get to the bottom of the photo situation?
So for that, why I missed, I check it says due to some offset and might due to offset and fetch, we missed that profile. So what I will do, I will run the script again.
Is it possible that your script was responsible for reordering those images, or for
No. Since we
but
are
what
not
I just don't understand is why. I know for sure the image for that business has been showing up for the last year, but there's that bad image over a year ago. So what changed to make it the primary image? That's the part that's a mystery. Do you know why, Amit?
let me say my script. See, my script did not do with the primary image changing here. We have 1 minute. I will show you. Here.
Yeah. Maybe.
See, what my script is doing, we are taking this image key and doing a HTTP call as if you are getting For success, that means it is a valid image. If it is not a valid image, then that is we are not getting success. That means it is invalid. We are deleting that image key from
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Okay. I wish I knew how this happened because you
If the
know.
business owner makes the change, do we have anywhere that we're logging modifications?
Not at this time. I don't know why he changed the image to one that wouldn't work though.
I don't
know.
have any reason to believe that he would, but that would at least answer the question about logs to identify when the change happened and how.
Yeah, he might have thought it worked, like he saw it on his end and then didn't check it later. It's possible.
Well, no, the if I don't know how he would have seen it on his end.
Well, because his photo library, like let's say you pull it out of your photo library, and maybe you see the preview and you hit done. Maybe you don't really realize we're not displaying it properly.
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to agree that that's likely what happened.
It's definitely possible. I'd like
Because
to.
there's not really any other way for any of us. I mean, none of us would have changed it.
There's
So
other
the only
possibilities too, because like we do display, we prioritize our images over Google images, and because obviously we don't want to pay Google every time we fetch images. So um, maybe a user uploaded a new one and we prioritized the new one that didn't display, and it just kind of happened all behind the scenes. It's also a possibility.
if that were possible, then the user upload function would have a component of the script would indicate the is primary column in the script, and it would have to change the value to 1 because keep in mind there's not 2 is primary images. So something changed the previous image to 0 and then changed the new one to 1. So that
Which
was either
that would happen behind the scenes, based on when an image gets uploaded. It's not the user themselves; they don't know the difference. They're just writing a trust tip, and then the back end would decide which photo to display.
Yeah, but there's only 5 images here. There's 5 images, and these are the ones that would have been uploaded by.
Others are trust tip images, Jerry. So these are only 5 images here, profile images, and others are trust tip images.
Yeah, no, there's like 15 images.
Uh, More than 15 images. I call that it.
But
Yeah.
those are the trust tip images, like secondary.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we use trust tip images as primary.
Mhm.
So
Now
these are the trust tip images. You can
it
see.
gets a little convoluted when the owner claims their profile. Then they also have the the power authority to cherry pick images. If this one does happen to be a claimed profile,
Mhm.
if it wasn't a claimed profile, we would be using a trust tip image if there was one as
So,
the primary image.
so last night when I fixed the profile, the primary image was one of those 5.
Yeah.
It was so I don't think we need to even consider the trust tip images. I just know I was fixing it fast. It was one of those 5 images that was the primary, and those were only uploaded, you know,
By the owner of the business.
the owner.
Okay, so he inadvertently, yeah, and he probably saw it in his library, and it obviously looks fine in your library,
Mhm.
um, and just didn't realize when he completed the process it wasn't going to display.
Mhm.
Okay, so so the format of it is still an issue. Is that like is that what ultimately led to this failure here? Is that the formatting we don't support it?
Lamet, what have you found?
Amit?
Not formatting. Like so, this suppose say this image ki created, but it's not image not uploaded on Cloudnary. So that means
So
when we are going to Cloudnary, we are not finding it.
so is it safe to assume if I claim a profile as a business owner and try and upload photos,
Hmm.
we have a defect?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to fix that defect.
Okay.
And is it back
So
end
from
fix?
where business owner adding photo, which this is from
They-
admin side, Jerry,
yeah,
or
their
where?
admin. Yeah, their admin portal.
Yeah, but the admin portal, the new admin portal was not available a year and a half ago. The new admin portal has only been available for a few months.
True.
So it was a problem in the old one then.
In the old, if there was an old admin portal, well, it says it's Google. It's a Google image though. Is it possible that there was an error importing that image from Google?
No, so Jerry, we are still if it is Google Images, but we are creating image key and storing and concept of a image key, not
But
the.
why is Google image equal to 1? So that column, why is it 1? That would mean it probably came from the initial
Go to
Google.
profile here, go to profile and profile locator, store to DB. Store to DB. Store Google Places to DB. What is it?
I mean the you can pass null for the fetch now, or even I noticed that fetch was previously a required parameter. Now it's optional. If you want to pass like 99999, that could work too. It does basically the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, let me try that.
I don't think anybody's gonna have like 100,000 contacts under that scenario.
It's still interesting, Jerry. You pointed out that image was over a year old, and the admin portal wasn't even there. That the new one,
Well, it
So
wasn't
here,
a portal.
here,
but
Jerry,
but that profile definitely did not have a bad image displayed until recently.
Well, it's possible that you could change the image, so the image was uploaded, but you can view the images that you have for that business and change which one is the primary of the ones that are already there.
So is it possible he could see the image on his end, but the app isn't displaying it because one's web based, one's not.
If the image key does not exist, no. Did the image key exist?
image key exists, yes.
It's
But
a bad,
image,
yeah.
But does it exist in Cloudinary?
no, no.
Then no, the image would not exist.
But it exists like on hit in the admin portal.
It would be a record that would have a broken image linked to it.
Okay. Well, I want a solution that prevents this from happening. I want, obviously don't want to have any of these broken images uploaded, but I also don't want there to be a defect that we're unaware of. If you claim your business, perhaps there's a defect we don't see. You guys have any?
Oh man, can you run the script again for newer places and see when's the last time we had a broken image uploaded?
Another question: has anybody actually seen this image yet? Have we been able to view it, or we can't because it doesn't exist in Cloudinary?
Sounds like it doesn't exist in Cloudinary.
So we had a key for an image that didn't exist in Cloudinary, and at some point we migrated images from Google to Cloudinary. Is that right? I don't know the history.
I don't know the history either.
I don't know.
No, so see here now, date is created on
A year ago, over a year ago.
year ago. That we migrated like from S3 to 2 years ago, right, John? 2023, when
Yeah.
yep, that time we migrated.
Yeah.
So looks like it's that case.
We should be able to run a script that can verify that every image key that we have links to a Cloudinary URL to identify any other potential issues, right?
That's the script I asked him to run, and I want him to. When was the last time we had a broken image? Something tells me it may not be an issue anymore, but I want him to find out when was the last time a broken image was uploaded, and then if it was recently, figure out why.
Okay. So I will run the script and I will provide you that CSV file. 1 minute. But why is this not Google image? Now let me check.
So
It's Google image from where it's coming.
they
Clearly
do
from-
currently still have 2 other broken images on their profile. Image number 4 and image number 5 are both broken. If you
at
actually
this 74, 75 image here.
interesting.
From here, from our side, we are not updating its Google image one here. You can see its Google image not anywhere here. Google image is not anywhere. Backend is not updating its Google image here. 1 or 0. Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Mm,
Hello?
yeah, it's definitely image 74 and 75, like you had suggested. And they both have Cloudinary URLs.
Which
Or no, it's 75 and something else.
well, Cloudinary URLs are they're just formed like all
Yeah,
because
so the URL was generated, but no image was actually populated.
well, all Cloudinary URLs are just templates. So we don't generate the URL. It's just a template from the image that we have that we believe is in Cloudinary.
Okay.
So what's our prognosis?
Well, so we don't have an answer on that script yet, right? How many images exist that don't have actual images stored in Cloudinary? Do we have a number of results? We know that there's at least 2. Those are all of them?
It was the old one, so I will check it one minute. This is the
I thought we already went through this exercise like over a year ago.
Yeah, we did that exercise, John, previous to previous month.
So I don't get it. Why are we having lingering issues?
Are we having a problem with the Cloudinary files? Like maybe Jerry, can you log in and look for these actual files by their ID and see if maybe Cloudinary lists some kind of problem? You know, like AWS can have files compromised and fail. Is that what's happening? Are source images becoming corrupt on their servers?
Well, I was hoping. I don't think it should happen like after the fact, but I was kind of hoping Amit could go and check those pictures. He has Cloudinary access.
I mean, can you check those pictures?
No. See, there's no image with that one.
And if you search for the other ones, they come up.
Yes, it will come.
All right. So yeah, it just doesn't exist in Cloudinary. I'm under the assumption that when we first imported these images forever ago, that they were not properly uploaded to Cloudinary. But I would like Amit to run the script and find what was the last image that ran into this issue, so we can determine if it's still an ongoing issue. Because it's hard for me to come to a root cause. This was 15 months ago, just before my time here.
And
But
one more thing on Jerry here, like you see what is happening. Upload this image is uploading while for new one in background. Might be this one fail, or since we are passing image key in the database, here you can see we are storing image key in the database, and this might be failed, then we will not have the image on Cloudinary.
that's
I think we need to wait. Yep, we need to wait until Cloudinary uploaded, then only update the database.
I just want to know if it's still happening.
Mm. Okay, I will understand. I will let you know. Give me- I will send you the.
Okay. And don't forget, you're still working on that thing for Amin.
Yep.
back end.
So which one should make my prioritize now? Yes.
Continue with this for now, since you're in it.
Can we also verify that we don't have any type of auto archiving functions turned on in our Cloudinary account?
I don't know. Can we?
Is that a thing?
Because I'm really having a hard time with the idea that an image file or ID was generated, but not stored in Cloudinary. Because I would assume that the way we would have scripted that is that the image file generation in our database would have occurred after the file was saved in Cloudinary, not before.
It's the other way around, Ian.
Oh,
You have to create an index. We have to
okay.
key. So in our database, we have image keys, and they're sequential, and then we upload to Cloudinary with that image key.
Oh, alrighty.
That's the file name.
Okay, well, I still think it'd probably be a good practice just to verify that there's not some kind of thing that's like, well, like in AWS, we use cold storage on our S3 buckets, and the file will not become as easily accessible once it reaches cold storage. I don't know if Cloudinary has anything like that, but it's worth just doing a double check on.
Yeah, I'll see.
Cool. How's it going here, Amin?
Yeah.
You guys can continue. I'm working on that part, so I will let you know.
Okay, thanks so much.
So, I got FX cancel. Is she also to show more? There's no
Sweet.
show more now.
Great.
And you can see here that this is Android. This is first the SOT. Those are in my SOT. Those are the suggestions.
Mhm.
And one thing. So the reason why when I tap in here nothing happens is because remember how we have in here if this contact this is a contact, so it will be an SMS drawer.
Mhm.
Put it first so you can invite. Then if you use it
That's an
invite,
onboarding, but not edit SOT.
it's not in an edit SOT.
No, I don't think. Let me double check.
Let me see. 'Cause I didn't see any.
Oh yeah, it is a drawer. Yeah. It's a message drawer.
So do we want it here as well to keep it?
No, I think it'll just be behind the scenes because we're not. It's going to be from the Twilio account to create the group chat, so it'll be it'll actually be a whole different function.
Okay, so in tagging friends, we're not gonna do the SMS drawer. We're just gonna add them directly.
Yes.
Okay, so all right. So yeah, that's the only thing I can see here is left for the screen to be finished. It's just to handle that.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And yeah,
But also some back end stuff.
yeah. I mean, like for the screen, it's good. Like backend for that,
Mhm.
we don't need anything. Like this, but here still need backend stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Is it going to work a little different for movies and shows? Like, I guess
This is a movie. This is a.
it's a
Oh no.
movie. No,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
not.
This
Because a
one is.
movie, you wouldn't be able to add a image. Okay, yeah, that looks right.
So I think this is an entertainment. So I was able to do. I'm not sure I'm following, but um, I mean I can add an image for tagging.
You don't want to be able to add an image for entertainment. That's not possible. Just for places. So it's proper. You have it right.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one you cannot add an image, but the one for the place you can add an image. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean I'm just working on the tagging. I'm not changing anything in here. So whatever we have in the app right now, it's gonna be the same.
That's true. That didn't change. Okay. Um. Yeah. So then it's looking good.
Yep.
Um. Keep it here for a sec. I just remembered. I don't remember if this was still an issue. Chantel, are you here?
Yes, yes, I am.
Chantel, where was it that you had the keyboard covering buttons just the other day? I don't remember. Is that like a fluke or that's something you were recreating? Do you remember
Well, yes and no. Like, it's a consistent issue, but it's still slightly inconsistent.
Where was it?
It was in the chat.
Let me check.
Yeah, where
On
I was
Android?
trying to respond to messages, yeah, on Android,
Can you
and
use your, I mean, will you use your Android emulator? And let's see if Chantel can walk you through. Okay, so like just a one-on-one chat, Chantel?
group chats.
Okay,
Yeah,
we go to a group chat real quick. I mean,
I think it was one-on-one chats too because I had people asking me questions and I couldn't respond very easily because I couldn't see what I was typing. So I'd have to like put the keyboard down and up, and it was very uncomfortable.
interesting. Okay, go. We go to your messages. I mean, and then any group here. There's a group. And then what would happen? Where would it be, Chantal?
If I was just trying to type a message.
Okay, so if you raise the keyboard here,
Yep.
and what was covered?
The half of the input. I could only see the tops of the letters.
Interesting. I see. Like in the camera was half cut off.
Honestly, I don't remember about how the camera is. I know the emojis were, and I know the tops of the words were.
Interesting.
So you're saying everything was visible, only the words that
Yes.
were like mm,
Because the keyboard was overlapping. is
Correct.
what-
yeah. But how is the keyboard overlapping, but not overlapping the emojis? Only
Yeah.
the.
No, like I said, they were overlapping the emojis. I just can't remember for sure if it overlapped the camera.
It would have overlapped everything. And
Yeah.
you might not have even seen the camera. It might have overlapped high enough to block it. So yeah. Is it do it every time, Chantal? No.
No, it's not every time, but it's been in most builds that I've gotten for a while where it happens sometimes, but still regularly. I'd say it happens about 35-40% of the time.
That's one of those things that should be addressed. Top priority. Because some very important questions that are unanswered are when did it first happen? Because knowing when it first happened is really helpful. Because now it's persisted through many different iterations, and it's just going to be harder to pinpoint why. But it
Yeah.
started happening one day. Like one day, everything was fine with the keyboard, and then one day you saw that problem, and then you started seeing it occasionally.
Remember I think it was April 8th when we had a bunch of people coming in.
Mhm.
Maybe it was March 26th-ish. That's when it was really bad, super noticeable. Before that, I think it occasionally happened, but from that point on, it was quite a bit more.
Okay.
But like, I wish I would have screen recorded it yesterday. I saw it very briefly, but I couldn't get it to recreate.
When it briefly, did it correct itself while you were on the same screen, or correct yourself
I
when you left and came back?
I pressed I think the down button on the keyboard and then pulled it back up.
I see. And it fixed it.
Yeah.
Try pressing the down button a few times and up. I mean, see if it gets out of sync. Oh, there it almost did it. It was overlapped for a brief moment, but it didn't stick. Yeah, so it does kind of want to shift a little bit at the end. And I imagine that shift could be problematic. What do you think? I mean, see how it
Um,
shifted right at the end?
like
So
here.
it was
Yeah.
overlapped. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Um, I don't really know. Yeah, it could be for that, but like I don't see how the keyboard's gonna overlay like the half of it. I mean, I can think of another issue where only like stuff inside the input that are cut off, but not the camera, then that we have an embedding issue there. But if it was everything like cut off, meaning the keyboard, um, means like we have something wrong how we handle the keyboard, which I thought we changed. And this is how like we're doing it everywhere. So I can't
Yeah,
think of anything right
but
now.
you know how Android is.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know.
So I mean, I saw just even when you were going up and down with the keyboard that it was cut off for a brief moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was one there. That one did it. If you record it, you'll catch it. It's on the way up.
How to change this?
Oh yeah, and Chantel, do you use the native keyboard or do you have like a special keyboard?
Native.
Okay.
How to I have this. Oh yeah. Mm,
Keep going.
mm,
Yeah, keep it on one line. Hmm.
Let me try it with
That one looked like it might have been overlapping.
I, I'm not sure I was able. I was really looking there.
Yeah, on the way up, did it look like?
Like yeah, I can see the shift, but the
Yeah,
overlap.
I
That's
thought the keyboard was above the input briefly. And so Chantel, it would be like if you were in the lobby and then came into a chat, basically.
Um, Clicking on notifications was getting me there before. And then going from the lobby in there was getting me there before.
Is a
But then
notification more often the case?
I think so.
I see. That could be a clue. I mean,
That's usually how I end up going to the messages lately, at least.
okay.
But it's not always the case. And that one day when I was really having a lot of issues with it, um, like I tried everything, clearing my cache, clearing my data, doing everything, and it wasn't fixing it.
Okay.
And then somehow it did get fixed.
Okay. But it's not fixed right now.
Um, it, yeah, it's not fully fixed. I'm not having a 0% chance of getting it. I'm still having a percentage of it where it happens. But like I said, when I had it yesterday, I should have screenshotted it. But it was, oh, you know what? It's doing it for me right now. Here, I can screen record what I'm doing right now.
Okay. I mean, do you get notifications on your emulator here?
Think yeah, it should be Oh, I don't know. Maybe I need to reset it, like turn it off.
I want to send it to the Android, but which account are you using?
Yeah, the Android ones are working. Yeah.
Okay, which one is it then? I mean,
Let me see. It's invited.
okay, one second. I'm sending a message.
George.
Okay, I'm dropping a video in development right now because it literally happened.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want that because that's many Android devices. I'm sure going to be with this have the same issue. Okay, I sent you 3 messages. Invite test from QA. Let me know if you got them. I mean,
Give me a second. I need to put the computer in charge.
okay.
Hey Jerry, do you know if we're about ready to push that user management tool live for the chats, or is that in dev?
I thought it was in live.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah, I have to work with the mean to
let
add
me
the
check it out.
in the chat, like to access it.
Okay. Oh, the little 3 dots aren't there yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Oh, it's like the video. So what I thought the issue is, it's like I thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a screenshot of what it looks like right now, which is what I was
Okay.
describing earlier. It just so happens it started that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sending in dev now. Okay, you should have gotten it.
Yeah, John, I got the notifications. Do you want me to press on them?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see if we can recreate it. But you need the keyboard in focus automatically because that's a real device would do that.
It would be if it's focus, if this input has a focus, but we're not doing it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. We don't do that off of notification. Never mind. So, okay. So in Chantel's case, what happened there?
I mean, yeah, here's I see. Yeah, it seems like the keyboard handling here is not working. So
Hmm.
for Android here,
Yeah.
And then you can't, I don't think you can see it in the video, but the cursor was all the way up by the title, the Maggot Army.
Oh shit! And also, why is there no background? Why is there no card? Like there's.
So I was in the middle of composing
Oh, you
the
were.
card.
That's your. I see. That's your topic.
Yeah, that's my topic. I hadn't posted it yet because I was writing a message.
But shouldn't that card be inside the compose
Yes.
window?
Yes, it should. And it was initially, and then I wasn't typing the message anymore, and my phone went black. And when
What?
I opened it, that's when it did it again after we were talking about it.
Okay, this sounds like significant defects occurring, not just a keyboard issue. So, let me make sure I understand. You are composing this topic for Raider Nation.
Yes.
Okay, and is it a custom topic or you found a profile to share?
I found a profile because Heidi was wanting to favorite the Raiders. So I was going to tag her in this.
Okay, and why is there no card in the compose and when did the screen go black?
So when I say the screen went black, I mean it went to sleep. Like I wasn't touching my phone anymore, so it went to sleep.
Okay, gotcha.
And so that's when the card disappeared, was when I reopened my phone. The card was initially there. I was initially able to write Heidi without any problems. But then I wasn't pressing anything on my phone. It went to sleep. I opened it, and that's when I was having the issues.
Okay, so when when your phone goes to sleep, the card shouldn't disappear. So I think maybe Ismail should also be involved in this conversation. Ismail, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. If I'm understanding Chantel, she was composing a message, sharing a profile into a group chat, and her phone went to sleep. When she reopened the phone, the share card was no longer in the compose window. Now that's unexpected, right?
So she put her phone to sleep, and then when she reopened the app, the compose was no longer or the card was no longer in the compose window.
Yeah.
And are we talking about like this like she was inside the chat or inside the compose like the
She would still be composing. You show that again, I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna share. Like, if you check development email, you will see this screenshot shared.
So
Okay,
this is like mid compose.
okay, and this is inside the so she was inside the what version is she on? There was a cache issue that was causing this.
Okay, let me see.
Fixed.
I'm surprised the camera isn't there at all. Like, I feel like I could still be able to see the top. Should be able to see the top of the camera. But also, there's no background color. I guess there wouldn't be a background color yet because she hasn't hit send.
Chantel's keyboard, yeah, it's a little weird. It's not behaving like the other Androids, not even like mine, even though I have a Samsung.
2.2.24.
You're
says
on
that's
version
the
24?
default keyboard.
I know. Yeah, we'll talk about that soon, but you're on the latest version, and initially it was there, and then after the app went to sleep and back, it disappeared. Hello?
Yeah, it disappeared.
Mm. And when you sent it, did it send normally?
I haven't sent it yet.
Yeah, okay. And this is just right now?
Yeah, I still have it up, and it's still having the issue.
Mm. Okay, if you send it, what happens?
Okay, let me do that.
Or you don't want to take a risk on the big chat.
Yeah, don't send it into that chat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can use a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, try to recreate it. But yeah, so basically you had it, you turned off your phone and you turned it back on and then it disappeared, right?
Yeah.
or your phone turned off automatically. So
Yeah, it turned off automatically. I didn't do anything to it.
Huh.
Like I didn't go out of my way to close it.
yeah, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe.
Okay, well this is
Uh,
interesting. Okay, I was not expecting this. Okay. So if you can see in um in the video and in the initial screenshot, you can see where I wrote out, Heidi, this is the best so far. But then you can see where I'm sharing it to Todd. I was sharing the same profile and it came up with that still already pre written for Heidi, even though I'm in a one on one chat with Todd.
so the compose carried on to a different chat.
Yeah.
The whole compose or just a text message?
The text. I was sharing the same profile,
Mm-hmm.
but in a different chat, and the composed text moved over as well.
You know what? I think I know why, because we're using the same topic key. I think I have to tweak that where it uses group and topic to create the key combined.
Mhm.
That's a good catch. But yeah, I think I know the fix for that one.
Okay, Chantel, this is like one of the most critical defects we could have, across 50% of devices potentially. This should be like stop the presses, editing messages and reply and thread and all that other stuff can wait. But we don't want an active defect that's affecting Androids like this. And I don't have Android, so I'm really counting on you and Todd to report this right away. And we'll
Is-
stop everything.
To confirm, is this repeatable? Can we continue to demonstrate this happening over and over again?
No,
Sounds,
I can't.
sounds like
That's
you
the
can,
biggest issue.
but not every time, but you can enough times. Like you've seen it plenty.
I have, but I can go and I can do messages for hours and not experiencing it at all.
Mhm. But maybe this thing with the composing and letting the phone go to sleep, maybe that's more repeatable.
Yeah, I mean, I can try.
Yeah, because that's something you don't do very often, but perhaps
Yeah.
that's a more likely way to trigger it.
There definitely is some level of unexpected behavior that happens when you leave the app and then return to it. Just I think by the way we built things. I actually just posted something kind of similar in the dev chat. It's not quite a serious issue, but worthy of knowing about. If you full screen an image, like you go to a profile and then click on an image and make it full screen,
Mhm.
and then you leave the app and you're just out of it, going about your day, and you get a notification for a chat. You
Mhm.
tap the notification for the chat and you return to the app, you're looking at a full screen image that you left on rather than the chat.
Okay, that's another edge case. Those are very good to catch because they, obviously don't happen often.
Right.
But this is where that's why I want to put off the whole reply and thread thing just a little bit longer until we work out
Totally agree.
these little edge cases. Because once we identify them, these guys they'll fix them quick. But we got to identify them quick too. So, what are you doing here, Mean? You might be on mute.
I was just finishing this screen because I remember how we said we're not gonna do the SMS draw for this screen.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. Also, there's a little bit of delay when you press, for example, on contact, then for it to be shown in here
Mm.
because we don't want an API call to verify the phone number. So I was thinking maybe a loading spinner somewhere in here and there, showcasing something's going on
Yeah, maybe on the avatar.
or on the avatar. Okay.
Yeah, I could put a spinner.
Yeah. Well, let me see how I can do that.
That would work. Okay. So, as far as that keyboard situation goes, do you want to hand that off to Ismail? Is it because I know you've worked with the keyboard a lot. I mean, and then Ismail's worked a lot with the caching, and it sounds like there may be some converging issues. Um,
Um, it might be like the keyboard because of some defects going on there that leads the keyboard to be that way.
mhm.
But I'm not sure if this system is going to be working on this issue. He will be able to see the keyboard issue as well. If it is, then they're related. If not, then the keyboard issue itself. It's a different
Yeah,
issue there.
yeah. So Ismail, you might not have caught the first part that led to this discovery. Is that the the first thing we were investigating was just the keyboard being overlapping the input field, but turns out there's obviously a bigger defect here. Um, but also Chantel reports this keyboard situation happening periodically, um, regardless of a topic share or anything like that. Like sometimes just entering from a notification and pulling keyboard up. She's saying she gets this state here sometimes.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'll try to be creative as best as I can on my Android. So
Well,
I'll
yeah,
see if I can find a pattern to like,
you have to
you know,
use the
recreate it. And
physical device, right? Because
yeah,
the keyboard doesn't come in focus on your emulator.
well, it does. You can, but
You can set it.
it's a pixel.
Okay.
Or
Right.
she's using a,
Pixels are different. Yeah.
you know,
Samsungs are different. Yeah. Okay. Well, as far as this first defect goes, do you know where to look at that?
or
What's-
the cache.
Yeah.
Um, well, I have to recreate it first. Is there a easy way to recreate it?
Did it work,
Like, does it
Chantel?
have to be?
The phone go to
No,
sleep?
no. I tried to do that a couple of times and it wasn't able to do it. I tried going in and out of a few different messages and things like that. I tried clicking on a notification.
But what about creating a topic, typing something, letting
I
the phone go
did.
to sleep before you hit send?
I did that.
I see. Ah, what do you think, Ismail?
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I have to try to recreate it, see what might have caused it, and then after I have a stable way of recreating it, I need to start tweaking the code and see what can potentially fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not much I can do if I can't really create the problem, or if it's very, very rare. Um, so yeah.
Well, it's not that rare. She said like 30-40% of the time that keyboard's overlapping.
That one I have to see the keyword. I'm talking about the cache one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the cache, the topic disappearing. That's the cache problem. The keyboard one, that's different. Um,
Probably in the same
keyboard.
chat, Maggot Army chat, Chantel. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Sure.
It's a larger chat. It has a lot of topics. Is that something you've seen before, Chantel, where you have had your compose card missing from the compose screen?
I've seen it in the dev version, not in prod, but that was a long time ago, like not recent. But I do remember seeing it that way.
Okay.
That was probably like a month ago or more. Okay.
Hey, Jerry, on a side note, did you ever look into why So those 916 area events and whatnot are not showing up for a new user.
That was a front end thing.
Front end thing.
We determined that yesterday.
Okay, I forgot about that, I guess. Okay. Amin just stepped away. So Chantal, you're trying to recreate this situation now? With the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry, can you describe the Ismail, the front end thing that he could look at?
So for a brand new user in the app after they onboard, I don't know if it's a brand new user or like you can be a clean install and just onboarding into the app, but the list of groups at the top of the lobby to join, that isn't populating. And I'm going to assume it's because we don't have a user key that we're providing to that query.
You see the list of the lobby on the
Lobby?
Well, actually,
Well,
Jerry, I was talking about
uh,
it just having the default conversation before we did the groups at the top. Todd's test phone did not even have those conversations.
What do you mean default conversation?
If you're in the 916 area, we give you 916 events by
Oh.
default.
Yeah, that one. Well, okay. So for Android, I don't know if we're reporting if we skip that location reporting on Android, but the way that we add you to that group is the first time you report your location, if that location is in one of those geofences, then we add you into the group. So it's like dependent on location tracking.
He
I
did,
thought
yeah, he didn't
he was doing
have
your
it.
iPhone.
And I was about to say he was on an iPhone yesterday.
Okay, so he was on an iPhone yesterday.
Yep, and there was, and he's a 916, and he allowed location.
Yeah, let me check his user just to be sure. We're gonna go on Goose Chase, but we'll see what happens.
It
Okay.
was area code 279. I don't know for sure that we added that as.
Well, we're not. I'm not even looking at area codes right now. So
It's supposed to be based on location.
yeah. So what was that username he made yesterday?
Orla, ORLA.
Hey, Orla.
Pretty cool if we could use phone number as a fallback. You know, like if they don't provide location, then if they're like, 916 or 279 area code 530, then we just dump them into that chat.
Yeah, that was our original.
Let's see. Okay, so I see there was a location report from Orla. It was a Wi-Fi geocode, and let's see what happened here. Mm. I see. Orla was not added to the group. We have a location report. So let's see what we can find on that. Users have been joining the group. Almost everybody that onboards into the app. Let's see. Let me make sure that they're not coming in through a link. Yeah, no, they're not coming in through a link. It's definitely people that are coming in through onboarding. So for some reason, Orla's location report did not specify 916 area. Now I do see, let me go to the location report. This location was reported as a Wi-Fi geocode. Let's see. That's what I'm thinking. Something tells me that it fell out of the geofence. No, it's really in Sacramento. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so we report a location and geofences. 1.5. I'll take a look at it. We can move on.
Okay. All right. So Ismail and Chantel, I don't want to ignore this other Android issue.
Are you talking about the cache or the keyboard?
Yeah, but well, both. But cache, perhaps first.
So, well, looks like it's kind of hard to reproduce. So I'll try my best. Should I pop the share stuff I'm working on currently?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't know how long this is gonna take to just recreate and have like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those bugs where if I can't recreate it, I might spend an hour or two just trying to find a pattern.
yeah, Chantel, I need Chantel recreated. And she did it pretty quick when and I were talking to her today. So
Yeah, that was just really random that happened at that time. I will say that.
okay.
And has it happened more than once?
Not today. I mean,
Mm,
yes
okay.
and no, but it was in the same time period. Like
Mm.
when it happened, it kept happening. And then it stopped.
So basically, you just turn off your phone, you come back, and it's gone. That's how you recreate it. We're talking
Well,
about the compose disappearing, just to be clear, not the keyboard. So when you had a compose card and it disappeared, I'm talking about that one.
yeah, so it doesn't always happen when I'm doing a card. It was also when people were sending me DMs and I was just trying to respond and I couldn't see what I was writing. And that time I would come in through a notification.
I'm sorry, you're confusing me a little bit.
There's multiple ways to get it to happen.
Okay, and all those ways lead to the composed message disappearing, the card. Is that what we're referring to? I'm not talking about the keyboard.
The keyboard.
Right now.
The keyboard.
Yeah, again,
I don't
I'm not
share that many topics to be able to say how frequently the card disappears.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it how many times has it happened? I just want to have like an idea. You would like how many times do you recall it happening?
Oh gosh, it's hard to say.
It's like pretty frequent. I don't need an exact number, but
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't share that many topics that often, and I want to say it's happened like 5-ish times for
and
having
each time. Okay, go ahead.
each time the compose card goes away. And
Okay,
I can't, and it's always consistently with the keyboard.
So every time that happens, the keyboard also acts off. You're saying,
Yes, exactly.
okay. And do, is there any common actions you've done, if you can recall, between those 5 times? Was it like leaving the app that causes it, closing the phone, or doing something within the app? If you can remember any patterns, that can help me narrow
Mm,
down the problem.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I know for sure this specific time it was closing and reopening. I I don't think I'm I'm fairly confident that that's not the case every time.
Mhm.
The only thing I can say that I'm confident with every time is that I have an issue with the keyboard when that happens. That's really the only thing that's consistent about it because I remember it happening when I went from a profile to share into I think it was a group that
Mm.
I remember that happening. And I remember it happening right away. Like I didn't close the phone that time. Like
Okay.
it didn't go to sleep. I didn't navigate away.
I see. So there's no really established pattern that we have that can say, hey, this recreates it. Okay. I'll just make it a little tricky to reproduce. And anyone iOS users, this has not happened to any iOS users so far, right? Nobody reported that.
I would definitely tell you.
Okay.
I've not seen it.
So we're looking at mainly Android. So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Well, I guess this is one of those bugs, like I said, where it takes it could take like 1 hour to fix, but 20 hours to like recreate.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll spend some time on it. If I see that I'm running into dead ends, I can't find certain patterns, I can't recreate it. I will have to move on and ask Chantel or Todd to the best of their ability to find patterns as they use the app more.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. Chantel, I want really clear documentation whenever you come into any of these kind of bugs. And it sounds like the one with the keyboard overlapping the input field was something that's happened constantly to you. That's the way you described it when we first started this conversation. So that one you should be able to recreate often. You said it's been a problem for many builds, and it's like 40% of the time. So I'd like to
Well, I
start
would
with
say,
that. Okay.
yeah, I would say, like I said, closer to like 35, like 30 to 35%. But I'm also on the app like a whole bunch of times. So, like, out of 100 times.
30 times is a lot.
Yeah.
So if you should be able to recreate the keyboard issue pretty often. We could have a mean look at that because the emulator he's using, his keyboard looks different. He's not recreating it on his.
Yeah.
But let's start with that. I want you to.
Well, I already have the video of it happening.
Yeah, but we don't know what happened right before that. So
Yeah.
the steps leading up to it are going to tell a lot. And then just the keyboard overlapping issue, that seems like that could happen different times. So the steps leading up to that would be helpful, whether it was a notification or whatever the case may be. So maybe just do a lot of screen recording. You can delete the recordings if you don't catch anything, but just keep
Mhm.
it running. If it's that often, it should happen pretty soon. And that way we can get that addressed. I don't want to have this on a bunch of Androids and nobody's reporting it. That's how we end up with 1-star reviews. Yeah, what's up, Ian?
WeFunder just sent out an email. We're on the top of it.
Is that right? Okay, they're supposed to do that yesterday. I'll read it. I hope it's. I don't even remember approving an email. These guys are so loosey goosey over there. Okay, so let's move on.
Also, just a quick question before we move on. Does Todd run into this problem.
I'm gonna ask him when he
A
gets
lot.
back. Him and Danny are almost done.
Okay.
They're doing some Apple cert issues. They'll be back in a minute. Yeah, I want to
No
find out
problem.
from him on that.